Thanks for tuning in. Today, I would like to talk about DALL-E. I think, well, the probability is very high that you maybe have heard about DALL-E, which is a neural network or an AI-based creative application by OpenAI. I really love it. It creates very fantastic visuals and uses a certain magic trick. And well, magic, this is what this whole video is about. Before I show you the degree of creativity that you can unfold using DALL-E, I'll just give you a quick idea what DALL-E is and how it works. DALL-E is a deep neural network that has been trained on quite a lot of things. And those quite a lot of things are text in combination with images. So you can easily imagine what kind of data set you would like to have. It's a data set where you have an image as pixels and an image description. How you work with DALL-E, there are many ways that you can do. The main way is that you come up with a certain idea and you would like that this idea becomes an image. And what you have to do is, that's your task as an artist using DALL-E, that you have to encode your idea as a text prompt. So you have to write down what your image should show. You have to describe the image, and the challenge would be coming up with the best prompt for the idea that you have. So it's basically sitting down and writing a couple of image captions until you have the right image. Here's an example I just generated a few seconds ago. An AI expert sitting by the pool training neural networks, comic vaporwave. So vaporwave translates to what kind of colors you get here. Comic, well, obviously you have those outlines and not so many different colors, not so many shades. And the main content of the picture is you have an AI expert. So you see here a couple of people sitting by the pool. And this is how we all look like when we train our deep neural networks. So again, DALL-E, one thing you can do is you translate a prompt to an image, and this opens quite a lot of doors. But well, I'm not really intending to go into the details what DALL-E is and how DALL-E works. There's so many things, so many great videos already available. I would like to take you on a journey, a creative journey with an idea. So the idea is as follows. Lo and behold, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Here's a picture, not generated by DALL-E. It's a photograph copyrighted by Mattel, showing He-Man and a couple of Masters of the Universe and also villains. He-Man Masters of the Universe was a toy line. It still is a toy line, unbelievable. I'm already so old and it still is a toy line where you can buy those toys. I think those are new ones. It originated in the 1980s. I grew up and was socialized in the 1980s, so I know my way around all those characters. We all had those toys. And from the left to the right, you have an orange Beastman, and in yellowish green, this is Evelyn, and then next, the skull face, Skeletor. In the middle, He-Man raising his sword of power. In green, orange with the helmet, Man-at-Arms, and then with the snake skin hood, you have Teela. The cat is Battle Cat, and this elf there is Orko. Those are the characters that we grew up with in the 80s, and there were a few more. And my idea was, well, what about going down a certain road? And this certain road would be, let's take the style of those figures, action figures that we could buy in the 1980s and still can buy today, and apply it to the universe of Harry Potter. So going into completely different content while maintaining the style. Here, well, what you see is a scroll, and you see a certain logo, and you see a backdrop with those bricks, and you sometimes see those color codes, the strange color codes there, which indicates that every time you see those color codes, it has been generated by DALL-E. So most of the content in this slide deck has been generated by DALL-E, including the background, including the scroll, including the logo. So I just wrote down, I would like to have a background, and then generated that. I would love to have a paper scroll in clip art design. We generated that. So it's, for me, fairly easy to get some like assets and combine them into a presentation. Okay, let's get started. Of course, everyone would start with the hero. So what I did is I started DALL-E and I asked it to generate Harry Potter. And I think I wrote down Harry Potter in the style of 1980s Masters of the Universe action figures. I pressed play on tape, I waited a couple of seconds, and then I got this. I said, okay, this is something. It's a good start. It's one of the first images that got generated. This is, well, it resembles Harry Potter. You have the wand, you have this more like wizardry clothes. He has boots, so he looks more like a hero from the 1980s. He has the glasses. So I was, okay, this is Harry Potter. Action figure, we can agree that, well, it goes in a certain direction, but maybe it's not in the style of the 1980s Masters of the Universe. Masters of the Universe, I don't know why. Most of the figures were bodybuilders, like really, really strong. They were as wide as they were tall. So I sat down again. I changed the prompt to include bodybuilder physique. There you go. This is Harry Potter. Obviously, you have the hair. It's all messed up. It's hard to tame the hair. You have the glasses. Maybe under the hair, there's a scar hidden. You have those wizardly clothes. And now you have a manly bodybuilder build. So this is definitely Harry Potter. You can now send it to the modelers, and they will create a model and then turn it into those little plastic action figures. Well, definitely something, a piece of concept art that you can take into your creative meeting and discuss further. Let's continue. Dobby, the house elf, tragic figure, very entertaining figure, good at heart, one of the best characters that J.K. Rowling designed. Dobby is a house elf. House elves, well, sorry for the word, they are actually slaves. They can be freed. If you give a house elf a piece of clothing, then they are suddenly free elves and can roam about and do their own thing. And Dobby belonged to the Malfoy family for quite some time until he got released by a trick of Harry Potter from the family, and now he's free. He's a very, very great guy. So this was the first edition of Dobby the house elf. Again, I have to chuckle a little in the style of those action figures. It really talks action. I found this quite interesting. He has these eyes. Obviously, he has these ears, those bat-like ears. Very important in the description. Did not like that one, so I generated another one. This one here, a little bit more decent. So I think this would be a smaller figure because at the end, house elves are children's size. Still, manly bodybuilding physique. He's wearing those medieval clothes. He has those ears and the eyes. So definitely a toy that you might consider putting into production, or if your customer buying off the shelf and add to your collection. Let's continue. Lord Voldemort, definitely villain, the Dark Lord. He who should not be named. Lord Voldemort is definitely evil to a degree that he managed to split his soul into so-called Horcruxes in order to, well, actually ensure his survival. And every time he created another split, he had to kill someone. He wanted to rule the world, to put whole mankind under the rule of wizards. He had this more like fascistic ideas of, like dictatorial ideas of ruling the world. Harry Potter put an end to that, as you all might know. Here, interesting design. So it looks villainish. He has this unhuman-like skin. He has this powerful, let's even say maybe it's an armor. He has those caps here, like for fighting. There's one thing that is definitely different from how we remember Lord Voldemort from the book and the movies. In the movies, he had those snake-like slits for the nose. Maybe you would change the design slightly. You could even do some in-painting with DALL-E where you create another nose, but I think, well, it's Lord Voldemort, pale blue skin, no hair, looking evil. I would go with that one. I would at least test it with a couple of people, how much they like this action figure as the villain. Okay, Hermione Granger, one of the best friends of Harry Potter's. Definitely, well, interesting to say the least. There's a tendency, or there's a couple of people, and I count myself belonging to the group, that say that actually, although you have so and so many books, Harry Potter and so-so, that Hermione Granger is actually the hero. Not a, but the hero. She's the main character, because without her, nothing would work. She has those great ideas. She does those great deeds, and in the end helps, well, Harry Potter to become the ultimate hero. For me, she's my heroine. There you go. This is how she would look like. Hero pose, definitely, with those boots and this semi-dress suit that she's wearing, and she has this hair. It's very important that Hermione has this bushy hair. And if you look closely, even the teeth seem to work. You didn't see it in the movies, but it was very represented in the book, that she had buck teeth, or very big teeth, which she got rid of after an accident when she had her teeth fixed by the medical witch. Made it shorter, but I'm deviating. Hermione Granger, there's action figure of her. Next. Well, let's complete the round of 3 best friends: Harry, Hermione, and Ron. Ron is one of the kids of the Weasley family, which is an extended family, and they all have red hair. He is also a hero. Definitely, for him, it took a little bit more time to become one of the, like a really strong hero. He struggled for a couple of books. He's a little clumsy and a little bit maybe slow in the head, but ultimately becomes also a very, very strong hero in the end, especially in the last book. And you see it immediately. DALL-E knows that. So this is a rendition of how Ron Weasley would look like. And I tell you, this is exactly how I looked like when I was 17 years of age. Again, action figure. You have the red hair, very important for every Weasley. There you go. That's Ron Weasley. Severus Snape, potions teacher. So he teaches potions. So everything that you can mix in his class. He wanted to become defense against the dark arts teacher, but well, it took him some time. It never really managed. At the end, he was even headmaster of Hogwarts. Yeah, this is very interesting rendition. You see the black greasy hair, you see black clothes, you see the dedicated expression in the face. It's always like you see that he's very strong in character. He has those green eyes, and also, well, in this rendition, chin like an anvil. So this is Professor Severus Snape, and I think nowadays almost all professors, they look like that. If you look on LinkedIn, interesting character, where you would be tempted to believe that he is a villain, but turned out to be one of the bravest men ever in existence. So he really helps for the ultimate story to unfold. Let's continue. Albus Dumbledore, longtime headmaster and teacher at Hogwarts. He was way into his 100+ years of age when he finally met and taught. When he finally met Harry Potter, and a few years later taught Harry Potter. It's more like this old wizard guy. He tries to change the world for the better, but also has a little trouble how he does this. He comes across a little bit manipulative. So there's a long struggle with Harry, like thinking about and realizing how actually Albus Dumbledore pushed him and other people like pieces on a chessboard. But turned out that most of the things that the Albus Dumbledore intended, they were kind of true, and well, and really solved the whole problem with this Voldemort crisis. This is how DALL-E would think an action figure of Albus Dumbledore would look like. Long hair, long white beard, the wizard dress. He has this mystic ball, where I have to think about, was there ever a mystic ball with Dumbledore? Maybe it was and maybe it was not. There's one thing missing where I have to think a little bit more, is that usually you would see Dumbledore, at least in the movie, and I think in the book description, wearing some sort of hat. I tried to do it here, but then he looked more like Gandalf from Lord of the Rings, so I skipped that. So maybe I will give this now to the design team, let them come up with a nice hat. Maybe a fez in this orangey brown tone of his suit would work like a charm. Next, Dolores Umbridge. Defense against the dark arts teacher, theoretical, so no practical exercises. Later head of Hogwarts, headmistress of Hogwarts. She tries to come across as a friendly, girlish woman, but you realize immediately that she is evil incarnate. So it's like a good example of someone who puts on this nice cover and pretends to be nice, but she definitely isn't. One of the evilest characters that we ever had. And I think after everything, she ends up in the wizard's prison Azkaban, but she never actively, directly wanted to help Lord Voldemort, because I think she believed that Lord Voldemort did not exist at all. She was doing her own thing, kind of contribute to the Lord Voldemort's efforts indirectly. Here, this is how DALL-E thinks Dolores Umbridge should and would look like as a toy. You see this strong dedication in her face. She tries to be sweet and nice, but you see it immediately that she is not, and she wears this pinkish outfit. It's very important for her that she looks cute. She tries to look cute, but she isn't. And I think in the movies, they did this very, very nice trick that over the time, they changed her attire. It started with bright pink and then went darker and darker and darker because the whole story went darker and darker and darker. So definitely another toy for your collection. Slowly finishing, Rubenius Hagrid, half giant, gamekeeper. And I think he was teacher for mystical beasts. So where you went and learned about creatures like the Bowtruckle and Blast-ended Scroots, and I think they even had the Nifflers in there. Half giant, so it's really tall, very strong, but so kind-hearted, like really always close to tears when something really bad happens. Here you see him, very strong person. I think it would be a rather tall figure because, well, half giant. And what you see here is that this figure has hair. When you remember those Masters of the Universe figures, most of them, if they had hair, they had modeled hair. Some exceptions, they actually had hair in strands that you could model if you like, that was weaving in the wind, that was flexible. Here is suggestion by DALL-E to actually give him proper hair. Next, Sybil Treloni, divination teacher, a seer, wants to look into the future. See it with she had those strong glasses. So it's really, I think, far on your side. I can't remember. She's wearing those mystical clothes. She looks like a mystic. She's a descendant of an actual seer, a mystic, someone who could see into the future and do prophecies. She did a lot of prophecies, but Sybil Treloni is a great example of a doomsayer. So she's always like, we are all going to die and you are going to die. She always tells Harry Potter exactly that, oh no, poor Harry Potter, you're going to die. And you know, the problem with doomsayers is, and I think maybe you realized it in the last couple of years, that when they repeat themselves, sometimes they are right, not because they are good, but because of some laws of statistics that if you say something and different things all the time, sometimes you might have a little luck, and then actually something that you said will come true. When I remember well, Sybil Treloni has 2 prophecies that were actually correct out of the 10,000, 100,000 that she actually did. Action figure, she's not a villain. No, not a villain. Not definitely not a very strong hero. Again, great example of doomsayer, but I think she has good intentions. Well, talking about villains and bad intentions, Bellatrix Lestrange from the pureblood Lestrange family, also Death Eater, so in the servant of Lord Voldemort, cousin to Sirius Black, which we are going to see soon. So she has this dark attraction to her, as you can see in the action figure, until she opens her mouth, which is foul and rotten, definitely an evil person. And well, when you remember what she did, especially what she did to Dobby, you kind of were very happy when she met her fate and, well, actually died in the movies and the books. Bellatrix Lestrange, cousin to Sirius Black, the prisoner of Azkaban, godfather to Harry Potter. You're definitely a hero character, where at the beginning you don't realize that he's actually a hero. You think he's a villain who tries to kill Harry Potter, but actually no, he escapes from Azkaban and then joins Harry Potter in his quest to fight the Dark Lord Voldemort and the Death Eaters. You see him here with a little dark attire. It's more like Prince Charming looking. He has the beard. He has a crystal wand, where I have to think about what a crystal wand means. Another action figure. Now, getting closer to the end, Lucius Malfoy is the father of Draco Malfoy. Draco Malfoy is one of the bullies of Harry Potter at Hogwarts. Lucius Malfoy, a Death Eater in the first Wizarding War, and I think also in the second Wizarding War. Also a little bit more tragic figure. I think he turns around the whole thing at the end and redeems himself. This is how DALL-E thinks that Lucius Malfoy should look like as a 1980s action figure. You have dress. You also have this long silvery hair. Silvery hair, very important for the Malfoy family. Lucius and his father and his son, Malfoy, they have this very, very bright blonde, almost white hair. So definitely this is Lucius Malfoy. Fred and George Weasley, the twins, pranksters, very important. They're more like close to this Jungian archetype of the jesters. They try to create some chaos to stir up the status quo, which they actually manage quite well. And again, I did this job once, I will do it again. This is how I looked like in 17 years of age. Fred and George Weasley, again, the red hair. No, this is George and Fred Weasley. It's the other way around. Have the red hair, strongly built, a little bit more younger. Those are two action figures that I think would be sold in a set. And, well, here a little goodie, Luna Lovegood, one of the hero students at Hogwarts. Very kind-hearted, lots of fantasy, lots of imagination and feelings, a keen interest in mystical things and fantastical beasts, and very knowledgeable when it comes to things that might not be that relevant, but it turns out that she really contributes. She's a strong fighter. And here she is. It's the blonde hair. There's the warrior robes that she's wearing, and also those spectacles that she wears to see some of those hidden invisible creatures. I think she puts them on the movie when she tries to find Harry, who's somewhere hidden on the train. Luna Lovegood. And now, lo and behold, one of my favorites, definitely the action figure that I would buy, Gilderoy Lockhart. Defense against the Dark Arts teacher. Prime example for imposters. He comes across as very charismatic, and he comes across as one of the greatest heroes that the wizarding world has ever seen. But unfortunately for him, he cannot really do great magic. He knows a few spells, and well, they don't work that great. And all the hero stories that he published, so lots of books about what he did as a hero, they're false. Well, they're not false. He stole them. Those are memories from other wizards where he wiped the memories, and he sold them as his memories, as his actually deeds. Well, charisma, he always has this smile and this wavy blonde hair, almost golden, and well, he loves purple clothes with gold attached to it. So he makes sure they always have this radiant clothes when he is everywhere. But in the end, he turns insane because one of his spells for wiping memory backfires, and then he doesn't know who he is anymore, and ends up in this, lunatic asylum of the wizards. So let's wrap up. I gave you a short, no, not a short, a little longer demonstration of what you can do with DALL-E. DALL-E helps you get your creative juices flowing. You write down ideas and generate something. You refine the ideas and generate something else. You interact with those pictures. It's very good for brainstorming, and definitely gives you pictures that you can continue working with. So every time I generate something with DALL-E, I see, well, if you would take your time, upscale the picture a little, clean it up, do some painting with Procreate or Photoshop, you can turn these into very, very good pictures. And definitely, I mean, in our use case, we would like to take these pictures as inspiration for some models that we are going to build, because, well, that's why we're here. We would like to sell some toys of Harry Potter and his friends and the villains and everyone else from this universe in the style of 1980s Masters of the Universe. Please, if you like this video, be so kind, subscribe to this channel, like the video. If you have any questions or comments, use the comment section. And thank you very much. See you soon. Bye-bye.